Is it possible that the events of yesterday could be enough to deter the approval of all spot ETFs of Bitcoin for the foreseeable future? There's a lot to cover in today's video, but we're going to keep it brief, talk about Larry Fink, the SEC, and what is the future of Bitcoin ETFs in the US. There is so much anticipation for a Bitcoin Spot ETF to be approved in the US because there's been applications for this starting in, I think as far back as 2017, if not sooner than that. But Grayscale was obviously leading the charge in that regard, year after year, putting their application, getting denied. And there's a lot of reasons that the SEC has listed for the reasons for denying a spot Bitcoin ETF. Most of them, like I mentioned in the video 2 days ago, that the reason why the futures ETF is passed in the US is because the SEC claims that the futures, because they're traded on the CME, it's a highly regulated, no funny business exchange that they are confident in.
Bull crap.
Yes. Thank you, Toby. So now we have Dylan LeClaire actually reminded us all on Twitter of the reasons that the SEC has said in the past are the reasons for denying Bitcoin spot ETFs, including wash trading, hacking of the Bitcoin network or trading platforms, basically insider trading, which is crazy because insider trading doesn't happen anywhere outside of crypto, does it? I don't know. We got to ask Nancy Pelosi about that. Also other things of, just big holders of Bitcoin, whales being able to manipulate the price of Bitcoin. And there's a few others that are slipping my mind at this moment, but you're getting the sense of that they had a lot of reasons that they were using to deny it. Now, what happened yesterday with the fake news that BlackRock's iShares Bitcoin Spot ETF was approved, it was not, it is still under review, but a lot of people were attributing the price action of Bitcoin. It went up to $30,000. Now it's back down to around 28,000. They were attributing that just to the news that the ETF was passed. It was not. Again, let's be clear. So could this be another example that the SEC can use to bolster their argument that a Bitcoin spot ETF should not be passed? That is going to remain to be seen until we see what they actually do, let's say in January of 2024, when that deadline comes up for ARK Invest Bitcoin spot ETF application. Now, Larry Fink, he's now gone public saying that it wasn't this false news, this false announcement that caused Bitcoin to rise to $30,000. He's saying that he saw an overall pattern in alternative investments like, let's say, gold and silver and in treasuries, for example. So he's obviously trying his best to turn the narrative away from this maybe vulnerability in terms of the SEC and trying to say, no, it was just an overall trend in investing. And Bitcoin was one asset that people were fleeing to because it wasn't, because of this fake news. It was because they see Bitcoin as safety against a failing financial system. Everything that's happening geopolitically, people are turning to Bitcoin. That's what Larry Fink says. Of course, there is a use case for Bitcoin in this geopolitical scenario, but he also owns the SEC. So I don't know if this is just him trying to play the part of someone who is supposedly subjected to what the SEC has to do, or if he's really just behind the scenes, pulling strings and it's all just going to be fine. So it's just really interesting. I'm sure that, we have a lot of ideas of what's really happening. And if you care to share, I'm happy to see what your opinion is on this whole scenario down below in the comments. Do you think this fake news is enough of an excuse for the SEC to use to deny future ETF applications? Do you think that this symbol of the price movement of Bitcoin on this news is just saying that, no, it's a sure thing. They're just testing the waters. They're just getting us used to the fact that it's going to be passed and it's actually going to be maybe even a few days away. I've heard that prediction today as well. So stay tuned. I'm going to have an update for you tomorrow on Uniswap. There's been quite a lot of changes happening on that decentralized exchange. So I'll be covering all of that stuff tomorrow. If you haven't done so yet, I highly recommend you hit subscribe to this channel because then you'll get notified when we put out our videos, keeping you up to date on everything to do with the cryptocurrency space. Also, if you want to check out learningcrypto.com, I highly recommend it. It's our great group membership where you get access to our crypto portfolio, our trade alerts, our market updates. We tell you what we think is happening in the market. Yesterday was a perfect example. For those of you who are in the CT Club, you already know what we think is going on there. Anyway, hit like and subscribe. We'll see you tomorrow.